Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We are on Love 99.5 FM affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Kaliawo FM in Nakachi, Ganga FM in Jirapa, Flow FM in Aflao. We are on Radio Justice in Tamale. We are live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook. We are on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water always flows. This afternoon, controversy surrounding Trade Ministry's proposed product restriction legislation rages as rifts among rice and animal product distributors ignite intense debate.
Parliament should hold on and then do a broader consultation and then put in measures that will boost local production.
We, the farmers, will be contradicting ourselves if we say we support the minority call that it should not be. We have been making proposal that we need to focus on domestic production.
We have more as Imani opposes the passage of the LI in its current form, calling for thoughtful deliberations.
I think the challenge in our circumstance of the bill has nothing to do with importation of rice. It has everything to do with the local cost of production, which is higher.
Also this afternoon, Bost issues warning amid fluctuating crude oil prices, calling for an urgent national debate on establishing oil reserves for Ghana.
So today when I'm asked, do we have strategic reserve? I say, no, we don't. We have inventory. I cannot go and borrow money from the bank and use a strategic reserve. I need to pay back the loan. So the honest truth is that nobody is paying for strategic reserves in Ghana. We don't have strategic reserves.
We have the very latest on government's gold for oil deal as well. Meanwhile, management of the Tema Oil Refinery debunks claims of engaging in the murky proposed partnership agreement with Tema Energy and Processing Limited.
But it's been subjected to competitive tender. It's been evaluated by the board, and the board is full of people who are really reputable people.
And despite the presentation of the 2024 budget, estimates for the various ministries, departments and agencies are yet to reach Parliament as minority leadership warns the practice is unacceptable. We're live in Parliament. We have sports.
Ghanaian champions Midday begin their CAF Champions League group stage journey tomorrow and hope to cause an upset against the record holders Al Ahly.
And later, affordability, comfort and luxury on display at the Accra International Conference Centre. Details as Ghana's biggest housing fair, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, is attracting many, including non-Ghanaians who want to take advantage of the mind-blowing deals.
So we are giving out up to 20,000 worth of our products to 3 lucky winners. Okay. So what you need to do is to just walk into our stand, being a homeowner or a potential homeowner.
We're definitely live at the Accra International Conference Centre. That and more here on the Midday News. I am Emefa. Apawu, this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Please do stay on for details. Thank you so much for choosing us. In our very first story for this afternoon, the debate over a Trade Ministry product restriction LI rages on as some rice producers and animal distributors are torn between whether it should be passed or not. The regulation, if laid and mature, will restrict the import of essential staples including rice, cow's stomach, with what we call yemwadie, and other non-food products unless permission is granted by the Trade Minister, Katie Hammond. Even though the move is a good one, many believe the timing isn't right for implementation as it could turn the economy on its head while pushing inflation out of gear. The minority, for one, has kicked against it, fearing it would create an avenue for corruption. Governs Kwame Agboja is a minority chief whip.
If you still don't have the ability to provide cheaper feed to poultry farmers here, if you actually give the minister the opportunity to be the one to determine who does the importation, you just create another avenue for corruption in this country. Because everybody needs to find a way of getting his approval or her approval. As far as we are concerned, a demand was made of the ministry to provide certain details to make it clear as to their intention, and they failed to do that.
Well, his view is also being shared by Imani Africa CEO Franklin Kujo. He's of the view that the LI should be suspended for further deliberation and restructuring. According to him, other countries like Nigeria, which started off beautifully, is now suffering.
I took the position that this particular policy is not well thought through. And to think that next door Nigeria tried a similar experiment regarding rice importation. It looked like it was working from the initial stage, but it was quite clear at the end of the day that the ruling elite just took advantage of the entire policy, and it became one bad policy. I think the challenge in our circumstance of this may has nothing to do with importation of rice. It has everything to do with the local cost of production, which is higher, so that even the imported rice becomes cheap in spite of all the import taxes that are imposed. Well, let the data speak for itself. Data that suggests that if we stop importation of certain staples, rice and poultry, a few others that I've seen as well, all of a sudden the local need will be met by the local supply. I don't think that is the case. And as I said, until I see data contrary what I believe, I'm not too sure.
Well, that's Imani Africa CEO, Franklin Kujo there. Let me bring in some sector players on this, because we know that rice producers and animal distributors are actually torn on this matter. Dr. Charles Nyamba, you know him as a peasant farmer, but today he's a rice producer as well, so he joins us on this particular matter. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News, Dr. Charles Nyamba. So you are actually rooting for this particular ally. Why is that?
Yeah, so you see, as a country, we need to begin to bite the bullet and take very strong decisions to ensure that our local industry thrives. We cannot continue to depend on others for food that we can produce here, create jobs, ensure that our currency is stable, yet we want to continue to depend on them. Okay, we say this because today, when you travel across all the rice growing areas, farmers have produced enough paddy rice. They are not getting market. They cannot mill them. Okay? So we are thinking that with this LI in place, it will compel government to increase investment in these areas, which will further attract other investors and other farmers to go in to increase productivity. Nigeria have done it, and they are moving on. If you go to countries where we are importing these commodities, Thailand, Japan, Russia, all those areas, they subsidize their farmers. They ensure that they put in restrictions that prevent other countries from sending the same unfinished product there. So if we now allow them to process and dump them on us, at what stage in our economy can we say that we become self-dependent? So for us, we still appeal to the minority to think about it again and allow this LI to pass. In the short term, there might be some small shortage, but in the medium term, we'll be able to stand on our own and produce enough for our own consumption or even export.
But Mr. Nyamba, you make reference to the Nigerian situation. Implementation, we all know, has not been that smooth. But the issue is also about meeting the demands in terms of rice produced in this country. You've talked about immediate short-term shortage. How then do we deal with it in the long term, you say?
Yeah, so the immediate short term, we have a lot of substitutes for rice. So we need to develop the taste for that. So once we put in investment, just like I said, you go to Yaraba today, you go to Fumbisi today, you go to Kusiegu, you go to Bontanga, you go to Hohoi, all these areas farmers are harvesting. And some of the paddy rice is sometimes bought by Nigerians. So to me, I'm sure that if you're able to put in measures that block movement of these paddy rice to our neighboring countries and support the rice millers with modern machines, make it possible for them to procure loans with low interest rate, and also support with storage facility, feeder rows. In the medium term, we'll be able to bridge this gap that we are all thinking that it will be a problem.
So
because I'm in the sector and I can talk with certainty that farmers are willing to produce. Last 2 years, many people went in to produce, including MPs and other foreigners. They went in to produce rice. There was a lot of rice. But because of challenge with market, challenge with milling, challenge with getting credit to be able to expand, that's where most of these investors went out. So once we are able to bring in those measures in place, I'm 100% sure that there won't be any shortage.
So you are not for suspending the LI for further deliberations and restructuring?
Not at all, because we have been engaging the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, we've been engaging Ministry of Finance, calling for ban in importation of some of these commodities. So it will be wrong on our part, and I'll be contradicting the discussions that I have with the farmers and the ministry. If you say that we support the majority call for suspension of the LI.
We're grateful. That's Nyaba, Charles Nyaba there. He's a rice producer, a rice farmer. But animal product distributors are also vehemently opposed to it, arguing that it would have severe consequences for their businesses. Dr. Michael Ben Awenam is a major animal product distributor in Accra and Tema.
When it comes to chicken, for instance, as a local bird will be sold for 100 cedis, an imported bird that is coming from Holland is sold for in 40 and 45 cedis. People come to the shop to buy, and it's not that the local ones are not there. Even if it is there, they prefer to buy the cheaper one because they cannot afford to buy the locally produced items that are far expensive than the foreign ones. So if the LI is passed, then it's going to affect us. So for the LI to be passed or not, I would say Parliament should hold on and then do a broader consultation.
Well, that's the debate rages, and we'll be following that in Parliament. And as and when we get more on that, we'll bring that to you. But let's shift our focus to another sector. And the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Board is mandated to keep 6 weeks of oil reserve in the country as strategic stock to deal with emergency situations, but is not able to keep up due to investment issues. Managers of the firm say the country must fund the investment for a reserve to avoid paying more for fuel when the price on the world market goes up. Chief Executive of Bost, Edwin Provençal, tells Joy News the country will be badly exposed in meeting the oil demands of the country in an emergency situation.
So if the country needs an insurance policy in terms of oil reserves, who should pay the premium for the policy? The premium will come from the beneficiaries of the policy. And the beneficiaries is not government. The beneficiaries are you and I. So if we really want to have a robust strategic reserve infrastructure in Ghana, or a strategic reserve system in Ghana, then it is not fair to make it zero in the price build-up and expect to have strategic reserves. If not, so today when I'm asked, do we have strategic reserve, I say, no, we don't. We have inventory. I cannot go and borrow money from the bank and use a strategic reserve. I need to pay back the loan. I need to pay back the interest. So the honest truth is that nobody is paying for strategic reserves in Ghana. We don't have strategic reserves. We have inventory of products in Ghana. If we want to have 6 weeks of inventory, which is what my mandate says, then Ghanaians should come together and decide that government, we want to pay for that insurance policy. And so let us add maybe a 50 pesos or a 70 pesos or whatever amount is determined, add it to the price build-up so that we can hold Bost accountable to ensure that at every point in time we have 6 weeks of strategic reserve.
Well, on the gold for oil deal, the Bost boss, Edwin Provençal, says the program has delivered beyond expectation.
Our prices of petrol still 23 cedis. No, they've dropped to somewhere around 12. Is the dollar still hovering around 17 cedis? No, the dollar is hovering around 11. Has gold for oil delivered? Yes, gold for oil has delivered. Can it do more? Of course, gold for oil will do more. When should gold for oil stop? I think it should stop only when the prices get to where it was before COVID, which is somewhere around 8 cedis to the dollar, and petrol prices were hovering around 9 cedis, thereabout. Can we achieve that? Of course, we can achieve that. It is very possible. We have proved that we can be innovative in our thinking and use it to solve major national problems.
That's the Chief Executive of Bost, Edwin Provençal. Meanwhile, some petroleum consumers are alarmed about the frequent breakdown of their vehicles and have attributed the cause to the fuel sold in the market. According to them, the situation is widespread and if not checked, can damage their vehicles. The consumers who raised this concern on the Super Morning Show are accusing the MP of lack of regulation and demand an immediate audit to assuage the situation.
I'm a mechanic myself, so I do check plugs, fuel, and oil. But what I realized was that the people who have the goodwill, and we know that they sell good fuel, they don't. I think NPA is not doing the right thing.
how will I even know that the fuel I'm buying is the right type I'm supposed to use for my car? Because my car, I didn't check the plugs. And the plugs are very, very expensive.
Although Bright Simmons, Vice President of Imani Africa, on his social media page has attributed the situation to the Gold for Oil initiative compromising the quality of the fuel imported into the country, Head of Economic Regulation at the NPA, Abbas Ibrahim Tusanti, said it cannot be attributed to the Gold for Oil initiative. He also adds that the NPA is collaborating with the Standards Authority to draft an amendment to the manganese level, causing the challenges being experienced currently.
The data on all the good for oil cargoes, these 8 cargoes, only one cargo had manganese that was a bit closer to the maximum allowed of 18 milligrams per liter, and that was 16. Aside that, all the other cargoes, the maximum was 2 milligrams per liter. The majority of the cargoes, 6 of the cargoes, actually had manganese levels less than 1 milligram per liter. So the fact is that the challenge that we are facing is not because of good for oil. Unfortunately, I cannot speak to the motive behind him making this post, but we can only speak to the facts and to confirm what he's saying. So just as we've checked from our data, the good for oil cargoes, what he's saying is not factual. But
that's Head of Economic Regulation at the NPA, Abbas Ibrahim Tusanti, debunking claims by Bright Simmons, Vice President of Imani Africa, on his social media platforms. In a related development, the management of the Tema Oil Refinery TOR has debunked claims of engaging in a murky proposed partnership agreement with Tema Energy and Processing Limited. This comes after a directive by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to the management to suspend its proposed partnership agreement. Board Chairman for TOR, David Adumako, said the proposal had been reviewed by key stakeholders within the sector.
I know that there's bits of information flying around. It's difficult to assimilate all this information in one place to have it right. And I always say that if I was somebody sitting in the public domain reading about TOR, I'd be feeling the same way a lot of people are feeling. Garnishing of accounts for one reason or another. This has been the problems that TOR has had to contend with now. I mean, up until recently. And it will continue if, in the absence of a solution, that will be the life of TOR. We've heard it described as a murky deal, it didn't follow due process. But it's been subjected to competitive tender, it's been evaluated by the board, and the board is full of people who are really reputable people, highly experienced, have given their time and they're committed to giving back to the country in one way or another, and are not getting anything for this.
That's the board chairman of the Tema Oil Refinery, David Adumako. Let's head to Parliament now, shall we? The minority leadership there says it's unacceptable that more than a week after the 2024 budget statement was presented to the House, the important estimates for the various ministries, departments and agencies have yet to reach the House. The estimate details the allocation to the MDAs and its breakdown. Minority Chief Whip Gavin Kwame Agboja says any further delay will affect the work of the committees.
We need the budget estimates to be available as quickly as possible. There are many times that members go to committee to be presented with the estimates. By now we should be having the estimate to start working before we go into committee. So as quickly as we can get estimates, the better.
Let me bring in our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kwekwa Sante. Has there been any reasons provided for this?
Well, according to his colleague, the Majority Chief Whip, Frank Anodompre, there is no delay, and that in fact, in previous years, this is the same schedule that has been adhered to in terms of the supply of these estimates. And according to him, the expectation is that the Finance Ministry will work with all the various MDAs, and through this weekend and Monday, these estimates will be ready for distribution to the various committees, and there is no delay, but they will work on that.
Estimate, just as we did for the copies of the budget, in the same spirit and the same vein, we will make sure their estimates are delivered to this House and ferried to the respective committees. If you have followed the cycle of business in this House, we are not late, but I don't begrudge my colleagues who are calling for us to facilitate for early release of this estimate. We'll make sure that is done.
Now, quickly, let's talk about what else is up for consideration today.
Emefa, the fourth day of debate has also begun earnestly. We've been hearing from some key government ministers, Dominic Nitio, the Minister for Defense, and also Ambrose Derry, the Minister for the Interior. They've been touting government's protection of the territorial integrity of the country. They've been talking about how so many countries in West Africa, in the Sahel,
have had terrorist activities there, but there's not been any such activity in Ghana because the government has made adequate financial commitments to secure the territories of the country. But Haruna Idrisu and James Agaga, who is currently on the floor, are enthused about what government has done with the security of the country, and they believe that it's only the grace of God that has really saved the country up until this point.
That's a Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante. He's up later at 6 to connect Ghana at 6 p.m. here on Joy FM. Now, the Ghana Boundary Commission has hinted at plans to jointly construct a lighthouse at the site of Pillar 55, which is the formerly disputed maritime boundary with Cote d'Ivoire. Speaking at a joint sensitization and reaffirmation exercise by the two countries, National Coordinator Major General Emmanuel Kotia said the exercise this week will replace destroyed boundary pillars between the two neighbors. Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report.
Some students of the Half Asnes Senior High School on parade at Newtown in the Western region where the event was held. The joint reaffirmation exercise to replace all destroyed boundary pillars with Ghana's western neighbor Cote d'Ivoire will begin this week. National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, said a joint inspection of the international maritime boundary with Cote d'Ivoire would take place in March. He says a lighthouse will be constructed in the area to align with the land boundary terminus, which serves as a guide for the maritime boundary between the two countries.
We are appealing to Cote d'Ivoire that next year, March, Cote d'Ivoire Navy should come and we will have a joint inspection on our maritime boundary. Future joint inspections with Cote d'Ivoire would help the collaboration and cooperation that we have been seeking over the years.
Maxwell Agbagba's report there, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi, on Love 99.5 FM, brought to you by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Dura Plus Ghana Limited, where Dura Plus goes, water flows. We'll return from the break with sport and then affordability, comfort and luxury on display at the Accra International Conference Centre. I'm talking about the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, the biggest housing fair in Ghana. Many, including non-Ghanaians, are there to take advantage of the mind-blowing deals.
So we are giving out up to 20,000 worth of our products to 3 lucky winners. Okay. So what you need to do is to just walk into our stand, being a homeowner or a potential homeowner.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn, no bath, no chop, where it vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You not get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Haja, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor gets water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank gets meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selendion. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! As my boss, Mr. Poncho, go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
Thanks for staying with us. Time for sports.
Thank you very much, Emefa. Now, Midday say they are ready for their CAF Champions League group stage opener against Al Ahly tomorrow at the Al Salam Stadium in Cairo. The Ghanaian champions will hold their final training session later today for the big encounter. And despite being debutants, Midday remain optimistic of beating Al Ahly, a record 11-time winners of the competition. Patrick Akoto speaks for the club.
we recognize that we are the least fancy team in our group, and that is a statement of fact. For a simple reason that Yanga were the Conference Cup final a while ago. Algerian Giants, they've been playing consistently. El Ali, I am lost. I can't even talk about them because they are the record holders. So when you look at our group, clearly we're the less fancy team. But what is exciting about football is that there are always shockers, there are always upsets, and there are always good days for teams that get good results on the pitch one day. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Dreams FC, they also make their debut in the CAF Confederation Cup, and they are in Tunisia to face Club Africain. Back to you, Emefa.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, the Ghana Tourism Authority says the visa on arrival policy is aimed at expediting visa processes and reducing challenges visitors go through when obtaining visas at various embassies. The authority indicates that visa processing has become a significant challenge for these visitors entering the country. So, Ghana has declared a 46-day visa on arrival regime for visitors between December 1 and January 15, 2024. Speaking on PM Express Business Edition with George Riafe, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Akwesi Ajiman, emphasized that this measure is expected to streamline visa processing and reduce delays.
With this system that is coming in place, you want to come to Ghana, you have a ticket to come to Afrofuture, you have a ticket to come to any of the events, or you have something to do in Ghana, you want to come and be part of the December GH. You just pick your passport, you board an airline, you come here, and then you're granted a visa at the airport, or if you're coming through land at the borders, and then you're good to go.
And I have to pay to get the visa on arrival?
There's a visa fee that you would have paid if you went for a visa anywhere, from US or from London or wherever it is. But we know that given that the numbers have increased, I mean, in the US, for example, we know that the consulate was doing about 100 visas a day. Now they are doing about 300. So it's put
300 visas a day from when? Was it from this year, November, September?
Oh, no, over the period since we started this whole conversation around the return. So the numbers have increased.
Well, he also talks about work underway to introduce e-visa platforms to encourage Africans in the diaspora to explore and reconnect with Ghana. And that full interview, PM Express Business Edition with George Riafe, is available on our YouTube channels, also on all our social media platforms. Now, let me take you to the Accra International Conference Center. Affordability, comfort, and luxury, plus everything housing on display there is the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair, West Africa's biggest housing fair, is underway. The fair, which is taking place from now till 8 p.m. all the way to Sunday, is not only attracting Ghanaians but foreigners who want to make good use of the mind-blowing deals. Maxwell Agbagba is there for us. Here's his report.
The foyer of the Accra International Conference Center has been transformed into a big one-stop shop for everything housing. Hundreds of people are coming in here to benefit from the big discounts here. Well, if you want to be one of them, all you have to do is to get to the AICC. You don't have to eat because there's a big food court outside serving all your favorite Ghanaian foods. You can start building your dream house from the ground up, and the good thing is our exhibitors are providing free consultation. Let me get closer and speak to some of the people here. One of them is Olu. Olu is from Nigeria.
I think it's very exciting. There are lots of products here. There are lots of companies. You get a chance to speak to them one-on-one, share your concerns. And I feel like there's an opportunity to sort of understand the products better, the capacities of what you really need, as opposed to just, ordering online, which is what we do these days. And so I think coming to a fair like this, you also get to understand what the discounts are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a fair deal.
Great. Now let me speak to a rep from Golden Lighting Center Limited. Like I mentioned, our exhibitors are providing free consultancy services in addition to, what is happening here. It's raining discounts. Tell me, if I want to buy lights, what's the first advice you're going to give me?
First advice you have to know is where exactly you want to use the lights.
Okay.
Then you have to look at the lumens of the bulb so you get the right brightness in the room.
Oh.
Application of light is very important. If you don't apply the light very well, either you wake up very tired or you wake up too energized for the day.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so light is very, very important. And also, where you want to use the light, there are some light that can be used for the bedroom. There are some that cannot be used for the bedroom.
Yeah.
So if you end up using the light that is supposed to be at an open place, like outside for the bedroom, the light will be too bright. Troop in everywhere. We are giving free advice as well as we are selling as well. So they should troop in.
Sure. Thank you for talking to us. Let me speak to another rep from virtual security, Africa, they are also giving a lot of discounts. You have a raffle that will be coming up later. Tell us more about that, Abuajiwa.
Okay, so we are giving out up to 20,000 worth of our products to 3 lucky winners.
Okay.
So what you need to do is to just walk into our stand, being a homeowner or a potential homeowner. We will have a conversation with you, and we have forms that you fill. And at the end of the fair, that's on Sunday, we'll choose 3 lucky winners.
Maxwell Agbagba there interacting with some exhibitors and patrons of the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair, currently underway at the Accra International Conference Center all the way to Sunday. And just before we head out, Ghanaian musician Wolasi models the views and frustrations of dejected people in his latest body of work, an EP titled The Angry African. Features editor Jojo Kobina brings you a quick review of track number 4, We No Go Gree.
Fellow Ghanaians, see how
in this Afrobeat track titled We No Go Gree from his latest EP Angry African, Wolasi is pulling no punches. For 3 minutes 54 seconds, he rhythmically delivers a judgment on Ghana's politics. Employing a call and response storytelling method, the people chant that they will not agree to political deception. This song, best described as a satire, delivers catchy lyrics that are very familiar to the country's political landscape. Wolasi doesn't let politicians off the hook, reminding the public of their promises to fix the roads. That's not all. He delves into affordable housing, sanitation, illegal mining, and a medley of crucial issues. This lively Afrobeat isn't just for dancing, it is also a catalyst for thoughtful reflection.
One district and one factory.
Wolasi there giving you all the reasons why you ought to be in the Volta region from the 26th of November to 10th December for the Volta Trade and Investment Fair. Visit Volta and experience Ghana. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I would rather jail miners in possession of raw gold, not Ben excavators. Kwame Jan on Galamsey fights. That's and more on myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.